Welcome back to the last game of the Final Fantasy Rando Marathon. God, there's a lot of a lot of words in this. Final Fantasy Randomizer Rando Marathon 2023 Summer Edition. Danny said that by the end of it, I get better at saying it. Ha! I proved her wrong. We are. I'm Dark Moon, your restreamer. We are about to get into Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. But before we do that, Hevix is going to do a couple quick announcements as our host to get this last game of the marathon rolling. Hevix, take it on away.
Alrighty, so a couple quick announcements. The bid war for our starting two heroes is complete. Terra and Umaro are our two starting characters. That being said, we do still have an open bid war. Our final bid war of the marathon is save or don't save Sid, and we did have a donation come in during setup. $25 from Double Down says save Sid. He is not a war criminal. He's a man of principle. And I know some people out there are very passionate about that statement. So chat, save Sid is ahead by I would say about $30. $220 to save Sid, $191 to don't save Sid. So I don't know about you. We're going to keep this open for a little bit up until the point where we have to make the decision. So if the don't save Sid gang wants to get their goal met, we just need $30. And we could initiate some street justice on this war criminal. Or if you feel like Sid is an innocent man, keep donating to keep that lead generous. So we do have to save the old man. But with that being said, everybody knows what they're about. Last thing I want to plug here is our last block of prizes. We have a minimum donation of $10, gets you entered to win a set of Final Fantasy VI stickers donated by Classic Gamer 76. So if you want those, want a chance to win that sticker pack, and it does look very good, very well made. $10 minimum donations get you entered to win that until the end of the marathon. But with that being said, I am going to go ahead and give it over to the Worlds Collide crew. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Alrighty, yeah, thank you so much for having us here. Welcome to everybody to Worlds Collide. I'm A Prebz, and I've got Gar here in the booth with me as well.
Howdy.
And yeah, this is Worlds Collide. For those of you who don't already know what it's like, Gar, why don't we break it down for him?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Worlds Collide is the Final Fantasy VI randomizer, and anything that you can think of that can be randomized is randomized. Everything from your character stats to which starting characters that you've got, to the espers that you find, to which spells the espers teach. Really any number of things. And it's there's a ton of flags. We have like a great objective system here. You can see right now, in order to beat the seed, we have to recruit 6 characters and find 9 espers. And we also see that KT skip, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as the seed goes on. But I think the best thing that we can do right now is to get the show on the road. So, Fitz, whenever you're ready.
Definitely. Now, Fitz is scrolling through the some of the other objectives here besides KT skip. If he'd like, he can learn 3 sword techs by doing the Dome and Dream Awaken, and I missed that last one there. But here we are with his 2 starting characters. Got Terra and Umaro. Of course, he's also changed the skin and the palette on those characters, doing this of a Free Enterprise inspired run here.
Yeah, so Terra and Umaro start. Thank you very much for your generous donations towards that. So we start with Terra here. Terra has the ability called Rage, and what Rage does is there are enemies in the game that have abilities, and normally in the vanilla game, Gal, the wild child, would be the one to use the Rage ability. And sometimes they're very useless. A lot of the times they're very powerful if you know what to look for. So I saw a couple there that could be potentially very nice. I'm sorry, that sprite is just throwing me off.
I was about to say that as well. That sprite looks great walking around the screen there.
So absolutely phenomenal. So there is one rage in particular that we are looking for, and it is Stray Cat. Stray Cat has a move called Cat Scratch, which is ×4 damage, and that ×4 damage applies to basically everything that you can think of. It doesn't even. Honestly, at that point, it doesn't matter what weapon you have. It will work, and it will work very well. Fitz ran into the Narsh house there. Normally, those treasure chests have stuff in them, but in this particular set of flags, they do not. And you can see that all of the stuff in the shops is free. This is a variation of the supermarket sweep flag set that you might be familiar with if you have played a free Enterprise, which is the Final Fantasy IV randomizer.
Yeah, a little bit of a muscle memory kicking in there for Fitz as he started to go through those chests. But yeah, Fitz has, however, made it so that it's not super easy. Even though there are free shops, he took out rods and super balls, which are two very powerful offensive options in the early game here for the Worlds Collide randomizer. So he's making it not too easy for himself.
There was a... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, while we're getting some shopping done, do y'all mind if we have a quick donation read?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be happy about this one, Gar. We got $10 from Demon RHK. It says Olympic cliff diving. 10 for don't save.
Phenomenal. It perks you right up.
Yeah, that puts us $20 behind beating save. So, chat, if you don't want to save Sid, get in $20 quickly.
That's great.
I do want to answer a question in the chat. There's an enemy in the vanilla game, called Nightshade. It looks like a little flower. And in the vanilla game, the rage for that is Charm. Charm basically breaks the game. It's like Confuse, except it doesn't ever break, and no boss has an immunity to it. So you can rage Charm, and you are completely safe from basically everything. So we changed that for Worlds Collide. The Nightshade Rage now uses an ability called Poison Pod, which is significantly worse and is generally not worth using.
Yeah, good pointing that out there. Yeah, that is, it would not be fair. And so, yes, we definitely changed that. But yeah, what you see going on here besides is mostly just looting right now. To find offensive and defensive options so that Fitz's characters do not die when he goes to fight bosses. But the main objective is that you'll see as once he does get equipment that he's happy with, Fitz is going to start going around and doing checks. Each character that Fitz collects is going to have a set number of checks that he can do. Usually those are story-related events in the vanilla game that relate to those characters. That will then give him some sort of reward. Most of them offering rewards being another character or an Esper, which is what he needs to then unlock the final dungeon, shall we say. And then some of them also offer high tier items as well. So that's what we're going to see him doing sometime soon here. But if there are any other donations, this is now a perfect time for some more.
No other donations, but I do want to point out, or raise awareness to anybody who just joined for our final run of the event. All the donations towards saving or not saving Sid are going to be going towards the Liam Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA+ community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. A few notable acts that they've done recently: they have a monthly support group stood up and bi-weekly LGBTQIA+ D&D sessions for transgender folks, as well as housing and assisting people and families who may have moved to Rockford from out of state due to anti-trans legislation. So literally helping people get back up on their feet and get their life started anew in a secure and stable way. So shout outs to the Liam Foundation. All your money is going towards them. We've already raised $4,731, chat. I want to see $5,000 by the end of the marathon, and I know we can do it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, please get your donations in. Save and don't save Sid. That's something that I'm very passionate about. I want to see him burn. So there is a distinct possibility I donate again, and you won't know how much. So if you want to save him, throw some money that way.
Ooh, there it is. Throwing down the gauntlet. I love it. So it looks like Fitz here is now going to start going into one of these checks. He's doing one of the Terra checks, and that is the Sealed Cave, which has a decent amount of fights that he can get into in order to gain experience on his way through. But there isn't actually a boss at the end, so he gets a nice, easy reward.
Yeah, so this is what we call a free check, and that is a check where it is relatively quick to go through, and you also don't have to fight a boss or a series of encounters in order to get the check reward. Now, in a regular Worlds Collide race, one where the shops aren't empty, Terra is one of the best characters to see at the start because in addition to the Sealed Cave, which has a ton of treasure chests in it, you have the Imperial Camp beforehand, which also has a bunch of chests in the house. So it's a great way to get some loot and potentially get a ton of player power right off the rip. So we're going to see him take an encounter here. And it's not a terrible encounter. It's not going to give him too much experience, unfortunately, but... oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, that sprite still, I just had to giggle a little bit.
I am in love.
I think it's very fitting as well, though, to have Raging Yeti turn into this small Raging Antlion, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious. And actually, that encounter, too, noteworthy because now Fitz has access to the Gold Bear Rage. The Gold Bear Rage does an attack that is 2.5 times damage, so not quite as good as Stray Cat, but it works very, very similarly. So
yeah, definitely a viable option there.
Absolutely. And so here we see an imp, a very beautiful imp, I might say. Anyway,
Ooh.
It winds up being what we call a dead check, and that is a check where it doesn't reward you any kind of progression item. So in this case, it was a Thunder Shield, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
We're gonna be not the worst.
I did see the Daedalus Rage. Daedalus casts Merton, which is in this set of flags, it's going to be the most powerful spell that you can cast. But the catch is that it does massive fire and wind damage to your entire party, in addition to the entire enemy party. So protecting against some portion of the damage is going to be very important.
Yeah, everything on screen pretty much gets obliterated. But yeah, so that was our first check there. And definitely had that dead check. Now, Thunder Shield isn't the worst. This will also give Fitz some early magic option right now, because it'll teach whoever he equips it to the Thunder 2 spell, or Bolt 2. And as well provide that immunity. But let's see where he takes it next. And
the other neat thing with shields as well is that you can use them as items. So similar to rods, which casts a max level or a max magic power rolled second level element for a rod. Shields are the same thing except with the third level. So you can use that Thunder Shield. It'll cast Bolt 3 and it'll do max damage.
That's right.
So a very powerful option, but not one that he is going to be looking to use at the start. I think that he will if he runs into something dangerous enough, but we're going to try and hold on to that as long as we can.
Yeah, most definitely.
Time for a quick donation.
Yeah, by all means.
We have $100 from the real Chadius. And he says, most Sids are pretty cool. This Sid saves Celeste. He gets to sit at the cool kids table. So I'm going to take that as $100 for saving Sid. So that puts us at 325 for save and 201 for don't. If you don't want to save Sid, chat, we need $125 to make that happen.
Chattiest. Okay, so here we are at the Coliseum, and just like everything else in this game, the rewards have been randomized in addition to the things that you fight in order to get that reward. And I saw a Ragnarok, and I saw Minerva.
Yeah,
you can trade in the Flash for it. Oh, but that's a very rude encounter.
Yeah, let's see.
So what's dangerous about the Retainer is that when he dies, he will cast a move called Trade-Off. Trade-Off is instant death if it connects. So if Umaru decides to block this, he does not. So sad times. But had he won there, he would have picked up a Ragnarok, which is probably the second best sword in the game. Certainly an in-game weapon for that Terra.
Yeah, for sure. Arguably, second best. Most people would say that the Illumina is the best, but the Ragnarok is a definite second option there.
Yeah, worth noting that the Ragnarok is a better weapon to use for Tier 3, but again, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So,
yeah.
Couple of wipes there, but I think he did pick up a Minerva, so gonna be pretty well set up defensively. The Minerva is a great piece of equipment, blocks fire, ice, lightning, and wind damage.
Sounds right. Definitely, I know the fire, ice, lightning for sure. It's that other.
It's the fourth one. It always gets me.
Yes, yeah. The fourth, like a non-normal elemental. Fire, ice, bolt. Those are the very typical elements within the Final Fantasy games. But earth and wind are in this game that you don't find a lot of immunities for. Which is why that Merton spell that Gar brought up earlier is really such a nice offensive option. If you can find things that do protect your party from that, then that's why it is really a nice, nuclear bomb type spell you can use in order to take care of your enemies. Because there's not a lot of immunities to the wind element of that attack. So it looks like we've got Fitz going through, is this Ruin Narsh here?
Yeah, so he's going to go up to the Yeti Cave. And in the World of Balance, what you can actually do is you can head up a little bit towards the mines, and if there is a character, that character will be peeking out of the same hole that in the vanilla game the Yeti would peek out of. So Fitz did not do that earlier, so we won't know exactly what this is. But we can figure it out once we get up there. Basically, inside of Umaro's cave is going to be a little statue, and depending on what the statue says, is going to determine whether or not it's going to be a character, an Esper, or an item. So he's going to go up here. I'll be interested to see if he takes the dragon fight up here. Dragons are very dangerous, but they give you a ton of experience, they give you a ton of magic points, which you need to learn spells, and they also drop 2 high-tier items. And it is the Skull Dragon here, so of the dragons that you could fight, this one is, I would say it's the easiest. It doesn't really do anything terribly dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely not one that you immediately get butterflies when you see it come here on screen, or maybe I'm just a weak runner and I get scared easily. But
there's a ton of scary dragons out there. The white dragon, for example, likes to open up with anywhere from 1 to 3 attacks, and if you run into it early enough, it can be a pretty rude awakening.
Yeah. But as Gar was mentioning, the dragons are some tough bosses that you can take on, and they will always reward that high tier item, and then you get the natural huge boost with experience magic points. In fact, there are some runs, some flag sets that we do that are based around dragons. We recently did an event where we had a flag set, or a flag that was titled Dragon's Horizon, that was all about how to unlock Final Kefka. You had to make sure you defeated a certain number of dragons. And it makes for some fun gameplay there.
Yeah, one of my favorite aspects of Worlds Collide is just how customizable everything is. If you want it to be randomized, there is probably a flag for it. So it makes for a very dynamic experience, I would say. Plus, there is a ton of great community love behind the whole project. We just finished one of our big events, the Blackjack Battle Royale, which how many people were in that? It was like an 80s
over. Yeah, I think it was definitely over 60. It was a lot of people that participated in that. It was great.
Yeah, it was absolutely a ton of fun. It came with an improvement to our drafting system, which I probably won't explain that too much, but suffice it to say, it is like it's just loads of fun. It's absolutely just such a pleasure to be a part of this. And if you want to be a part of this as well, ff6worldscollide.com. That is your friend.
That's right. And just to close out Father's Day, we had Big Daddy Luma coming up on the screen, and subsequently just put to sleep. Hey, get some rest, Dad. And yeah, Double Down confirming for us in chat there. Double Down, the commish is 61 entrants for that Blackjack Battle Royale that we did. But there's our first Magicite, our first Esper of the run. Fitz picking up Shote there. So happy to see that. Let's talk a little bit about what you want to see at the end of a check. Do you want to see more characters? Do you want to see more Espers? Because there's been some, at least in terms of what I've been able to ask other runners, there's a little bit of a divide between what you want to see. What do you think, Gar?
I prefer like a nice balance of things. I don't want to see too many Espers because then there aren't enough characters to learn all the spells, and I don't want to see too many characters at the start because then, your offense tends to be pretty weak at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I used to think of wanting to get more characters so I had more options available to me, but then I got into the point where I got too many characters, and then it's like there's paralysis by analysis. Like, okay, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do that, and there's too many options. So I kind of I like to ride the line, and I like to be nice and balanced, just like you.
Well, speaking of nice and balanced, when Fitz talked to the statue there, we saw the flash, and we saw the message that said that there was a Magicite in there, so that is going to be a second Esper coming through once these cranes die, and there they go.
Yep, there go Niles and Fraser.
Yeah.
Goodbye. And let's see who he is able to pick up here.
Oh, he didn't find warp stones, I don't think, so he is going to have to take the walk of shame. Wah, wah. So
he was able to get some smoke bombs, but no warp stones.
While he's walking out, Hebbings, do you have anything for us?
I do. We got a $15 donation from the Schwant27. And here's Sid likes fish. I wonder if the fast fish are easier to eat. Let's find out. Oh, and good luck on the rest of the run, besides the solitary island fish. Oh, Fitz. Sorry. Got fish in the brain.
Thanks, Schwantz. Schwantz, very, very active member of our community, does a ton of our restreaming and commentary for races, and is just overall a great guy.
Oh yeah.
I do want to save that we're at $4,846. So we only need $164 and we are at 5,000. So chat, if you want to not save Sid, get those donations in. How close are we to that deadline?
We still have a ways.
We still have plenty of time.
Yeah, I would say at least another half an hour.
Yeah.
You heard him, chat. We got 30 minutes.
So yeah, just another 30 minutes about. You've got that time. I think that's a very doable thing. You know, just put in $5-10. You guys can do it for sure. Let's hit that 5,000 and let's whatever that outcome may be. Sid or no Sid, you know.
It's only $140 to not save Sid. That's how much it's behind by. So, Chad, if you can get us another $140, we will not save Sid, and we'll be this much closer to our $5,000 goal.
Whatever you do it with style. Fitz did wind up finding those warp stones there. Is he gonna do it? Is he making the play? Is he going to go down a certain river, have a nice whitewater rafting adventure?
Yeah. Let's see. He's going for the memes today, it seems.
Fitz is a man of the people, that's for sure. So this check is something of a meme, I would say, within the Worlds Collide community because it's very long, and he is going to go for it. So it doesn't matter how the seed goes; he already won.
Yeah, that's true. So this is a this is a check that most runners, the majority of them, if you were to go on the Worlds Collide Discord and see everybody talk about it, is one of the most loathed checks to go through because of how long it is and its propensity to end up being not a good check. I mean, so much so that even whenever we try to create an objective for it, you know, and give some other type of reward for doing it, other than the Esper character item you might get, people still just don't do it.
Like every time I do this, there's always some kind of really nasty boss that just sits at the end and makes your life miserable for a little while. That being said, even with this two character start here, excuse me, I think that Fitz is actually in a really good spot. He has a ton of elemental protection, especially with that Minerva, and he's got a ton of offense, whether it be through rage or these second level spells. So he's doing fine, and I really don't hate it in this position. You do get a good chunk of encounters here.
Yeah, for sure. And that's so I was going to bring that up. You know, much like I'm sure many of the other randomizers, Final Fantasy randomizers, you know, the level is scaled for this. You know, your characters start off at level 3, generally in a general flag set. Characters start off at level 3, and enemies and bosses scale with your party. Generally going up anytime you complete a check. So it's a pretty common strategy to take on checks that have fixed encounters within them as a way to just make most efficient use of your time so that you're leveling up while you're completing a check. So as much as this is a meme check here, this is definitely one that I think is a viable option. I tend to try to do that in my own runs and make sure that I'm getting in all these fixed encounters that I can.
Yeah, the fixed encounters portion of it is probably the strongest aspect to Leet River. And in this particular one, all the encounters have been pretty cooperative. They've given EXP and magic points, although I don't think the Espers are too good at this stage.
Yeah, nothing too exciting about the spells that these espers are providing. I saw in the last battle that Fitz was able to learn Vanish. That's a pretty niche one that you can take advantage of, especially in the end game. But there's espers that can do that better for you.
Yeah, without a doubt. And here's those nasty bosses.
Yep.
Now this is far from the rudest one.
Oh, looks like. Is he going to use that shield?
No, it looks like he's just swapping it around. Fundava likes to cast. There's that bolt too, and so now Terra's going to get healed from it. So.
Perfect.
And now Fitz can set his controller down and go make himself a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah.
With water.
So with Terra raging, she's just going to continue using the rage, and Yamaro, the little antlion that he is, raging antlion, is essentially on berserk and will attack on his own. So Fitz gets to take a little break right now. While this boss battle's going on, Headwings, do we have any other donations?
No new donations yet, but I've seen a couple people in chat mention that they're interested in donating. There is a link available there. So if you want to get your donations in, go ahead and click that link. Make sure to include your incentive in your donation comment, and I'll go ahead and get that right off, and we'll put that towards the incentive of your choice.
Yes, let's do it, people. We're almost there. We got another Magicite there. So that is now 3 Magicites, 2 characters.
That is the Ragnarok Magicite too. Once again, not terribly useful. If Fitz comes across a giant bird, and I honestly think it's any kind of giant bird. In theory, he could use the Ragnarok Esper and get an EXP egg out of it, which is maybe the single best item in the entire game. But that's kind of niche. That whole 3 with a ×5 multiplier, though.
That's nice. Yeah, yeah, that's
maybe
nice.
You got a stew going. Yeah.
Every time that dog missile had this. Sorry, I'm reading Honeydew's comments in the chat right there. Yeah, that antlion sprite is just. I might have to just do that anytime I have you on right now.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Right. So now Fitz going here to the World of Balance, Narsh, and doing the wealth check now. So with Worlds Collide, there are true open world seeds, but in general it's an open world because you get to switch between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin in order to go through the different checks, and some of the checks can be done in either world. Some checks are limited to one world or the other, so you get to see Fitz swapping back and forth here between bright blue sky and then dark yellow ugly sky, and to get through some of these checks here. And in this one in particular, he's doing the Welk up here at the top of Narsh and gets another Magicite.
And it teaches Merton. Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
So he learned Bolt 3 there, and Bolt 3 is very nice. It's a very short cast. It's a 3rd level spell. It does a ton of damage. But Merton, that's the cream of the crop right there. And right now, I believe that Fitz has 3 pieces of Merton protection. He's got that Minerva, and he's got the Ice Shield and the Thunder Shield, which will block fire and wind damage respectively. Excuse me. But interesting that he did not go up Mount. Not Mount Zozo. The Narsh Cliffs.
Yeah. Interesting to see. So there are also some checks within Worlds Collide where they're not gated behind a character. One of those being Kefka Narsh, where you can, and that's a really easy peekable check as well. If it were a character, then there would be one of your playable characters standing there that you can talk to initiate that check. Or it might be a soldier or an imp again, one of those other non-playable character sprites, to see if it possibly is an Esper. But it's pretty easy check. It doesn't take long. Maybe he just doesn't want to do the walk back out. Already did the walk of shame earlier. And doesn't want to have to walk back out. Ooh.
Oh. So, this fight is doable. It is going to be a time.
Yeah.
And okay, so he's gonna opt to crack the Thunder Shield here. 100% the correct play. And so now, what's going to happen is that he's going to Rage Gilamantis, and we're going to hope for Shrapnel casts, which will get through that wall change, or Body Slams from Umaro, which will also get through the wall change, and his absurdly high defense.
Yeah. It's a good play starting off with that shield break and getting off that just real nice chunk of damage. Sad to see the antline go down right there. That is a really nice offensive option here against Magimaster, but yeah, now it's just praying to RNG that we get more of those shrapnel casts to get to that defense.
Yeah, and so the scary thing about Magimaster is, poison, and he can also cast Doom. So, and Terra is muted, which means that she cannot cast Shrapnel, and that's going to have to be a reset for Fitz. That is unfortunate.
Very much so. Magimaster is definitely one of those bosses that is a scary boss to run into. Luckily enough, normally you run into him in vanilla game at the Fanatics Tower, where you can only use magic. So luckily enough, we're here in Mount Zozo, so we can actually use those magic options if you can find a way to get through it. But he's got that wall change. It makes it hard to guess which element he's going to be impervious to. So those physical damage options are always going to be better. But yeah, that was a tough little reset there.
And we do see Locke. Now, I guess one of the reasons why Fitz would not have done Kefka and Narsh is, because you have to go down to one party member, and that's always a little spooky.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. So, yeah, Fitz here showing off a little bit of knowledge with Worlds Collide, doing that Mobilize peak. You can actually talk to that little girl. She will tell you what that reward is. You know, you're not going to take Locke away, are you? Or she might say, you know, you're not going to take this item or this Esper away, are you? And name it. So now he knows where to find Locke if he decides that he wants to go get him. Obviously deciding at this point, maybe not yet. Let's go see now he's doing to go check and see what's at Kefka Narsh.
Yeah, one thing with the Mobilist check is that he does have to do Funbaba, at least for the first part. And Funbaba is not free. That is a Telesprite. I do not know which character that is.
We'll see who the character is.
I'm reasonably certain that is Strago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But and actually, now that I think about it, right, with Funbaba, then the sneeze with that, or not? I guess it's not sneeze with Funbaba. That's
It's basically sneeze. The Baba,
it's
the Baba
basically
breath.
sneeze. Yeah. Would he only sneeze away one person if there's only two people in the party?
I believe that is what he does.
Gotcha. Yeah. Alrighty.
So he's going to be doing a little bit of an encounter skip here. He waits there for that one mark and gets the skip there. Very nice. Oh no!
This is what we call the spicy chicken. So Poltergeist is one of the final statue bosses of the normal vanilla game. The 3 statues you fight before fighting Final Kefka. And Poltergeist is now here at Kefka and Arsh, blocking us from seeing who Tella really is.
And Fitz is just opting to pop both of the shields here. I 100% get it.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's still not dead. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. Alright, now, I mean, granted, Fitz does have the Minerva here on his Rydia/Hera.
And Bolt 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
Down
Nice.
it goes. So very nice. I don't think that he really wanted to crack those 2 shields there, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And now there's a Tella on the table, and if that is Strago, like I suspect, then I'm thinking that we're gonna go see a Casa del Fuego play.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Casa del Fuego.
Everyone loves a little bit of Burning House in their life, right?
That's right. What do you got
Fitz-
for us, Ebbings?
I've got 2 donations from Drinks Glue. The first one is for $3 and says, "What do you call an angry carrot?" A steamed veggie. And I have a $5 donation from Why Did Chupon Make Friends with Ultros? He wanted to be well armed. Oh, good lord. And we just got a $250 donation from the Worlds Collide randomizer community. Says, "Good
Woo!
luck, One Free Fits. Thanks for showcasing Worlds Collide for a great cause." Shout outs to your community, guys. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Now you know why we love Worlds Collide so much.
And that actually puts us over $5,000 raised.
Yes.
Nice. Phenomenal job.
I would clap, but I have a 2-year-old sleeping in the other room, so just
Same.
vocal applause.
I'd clap, but I'm using push to talks, so it basically just be like banging my desk real hard.
Yeah, hopefully that pop-off didn't wake up my son.
That's great. Yes, good job. Good job, everybody.
Thank you very much for your generosity.
Yes.
And with that being said,
we're not seeing Burning House right away. Instead, we're seeing good old Ebbets Rock.
and Ebbets Rock is definitely one of the checks that you can do in this game. It did get a lot better with a recent change.
You can do,
Yeah. So basically, the gimmick here is that you step on those floor tiles, and it warps you to a random room within Ebbets Rock. The goal here is to get 22 pieces of coral that pop out of those chests, and they pop out. It's either 1, 2, 3, or 5 pieces. So once you get 22, you have, I think it's a 50% chance to go to the hungry chest now, which is right there. And he'll eat your coral, and he'll run away. So that was actually a very, very quick Ebbets Rock.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
We find in Ultros. Ultros 1. Don't tease the octopus. And down he goes. And it is a character. We'll see who it is momentarily.
All right, that's is it?
Is that
Palom?
Realm?
It might be Realm if it's a Palom or a Porum. Yeah, it's Realm.
Yeah, and that's a Porum sprite. Very nice. So Realm is one of our favorite characters. She starts with a very, very high magic stat. In the vanilla game, she has the highest magic out of all the characters. So we have an Esper that teaches Bolt 3, which means she is going to put in some work.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, Dark Moon Fire in the chat pointing out that we've broken 5,000, which is great. However, we're only $744 from breaking the Winter 2022 record. So I think that's a great challenge. There's still a little bit more time before we have to close out the incentive for saving or not saving Sid. Get those last couple bits of donations in and let us know what's going to happen to Sid.
Indeed, we are at $340 for save and 201 for don't. So the don'ters have a bit of a gap, but I'm sure they can make it up if they try hard, believe in their wallets. I am getting a kick out of the Magic Murder Child comments in the chat.
That's exactly what she is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is what we call her. That is her name typically. We say Realm at first just to, be good commentators, and then from then on she's referred to as the Murder Child.
So one thing that I do want to talk about, and I mentioned it at the start of our run here, is something called the KT skip. And in order to get it for this particular seed, you have to kill 12 bosses. So far, Fitz has done 6, so it seems very likely that he will wind up getting the skip. And what the skip does is it basically allows you to start close to the top of Kefka's tower. There's a series of 3 switches that normally in the vanilla game you have to climb up the tower and with 3 different parties and go and stand on those switches. Well, the skip places you directly on those switches. So all you have to do is fight the 4 bosses, and then you can go and challenge Final Kefka.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it winds up saving anywhere between 5 and 7 minutes, depending on the boss. And it's not normally something that you actively go for. Generally, it's something that you just wind up getting as a result of circumstance. Here, I would be very surprised if Fitz doesn't get it, given his current character Esper situation.
Yeah, I agreed. I think it's something he'll probably just kind of happen into, which is just like you said, that's typically what ends up happening, because sometimes the seed does not cooperate with you, and you end up getting a very lopsided seed where you get either like all the characters without getting any espers, or sometimes you get all the espers without getting any new characters, and it makes it a hard time. So finally, we see the Casa del Fuego here, Gar.
I knew it was coming. I knew, I smelled it. I knew that Strago was going to be here, and anytime Strago pops up, Fitz likes to do Burning House, and I want to say it's kind of like an X factor for him, because a lot of runners, given the choice, they will absolutely go here at very last. Like if they have no other choice, they'll go here.
Yeah.
But Fitz going here, it can wind up being
it's a game changer.
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this happens to be one of the ruder
set of encounters.
So these level magics are among the toughest enemies in the game. They have a ton of HP. They use all kinds of really nasty magic attacks, and they don't give you any EXP. They're just there to kick your teeth in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this one isn't quite as bad as it's a Elite River, like we were talking about earlier, in terms of runners that just do not want to go do it. But this is another one of the longer checks. As you've seen, Fitz has been getting into many different battles. Those little fire sprites that float around on the screen, they're technically avoidable. There's ways to avoid them, but it's very hard. And so it does make it a little bit longer. Sometimes they can be hard encounters. So yeah, this is definitely one of those ones that other runners tend to stray away from or leave as a last resort. But Fitz is being brave here.
Yeah, and fighting Ultros 4, so the very last iteration of him, and it is by far the worst one because he comes with Chupon, and at the end of the fight, Chupon sneezes your entire party out, and you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
But we do see a fifth character here, which is very nice. And I cannot immediately tell who that is. That might be Shadow.
It's an edge sprite, so
Yeah, so it's
possibly.
probably Shadow. Yeah.
It is Shadow indeed, with the slot command. So
Yeah.
probably going to take him over the Umaro.
Looks like
Yes,
it.
indeed.
Oh,
So
that's too
goodbye to
bad.
the antlion.
Yep, that's too bad. Love seeing that antlion. And yep, of course, there they go. The is this even randomized?
Okay, so who is a worse dad? Is it Sid or is it Shadow? I think that you should donate and let me know. Shadow is a very interesting character here. He's got 3 checks, but one of them is the floating continent, which itself comprises 3 separate instances of progression.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have,
it's a long one, but yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say that 2 of the spots are guaranteed to be some form of progression, whether it's a character or an Esper. And the third one can either be an Esper or an item. So it tends to be pretty good value, even if it is very long. So I would not be surprised if it's winds up taking an airship trip up there. You can also go to Gal's dad's house, which is in the vanilla game, basically where Sabin washes up.
Yep, that's exactly where he's going. Nice, quick, and easy check here. Also, an instance to get some items here. Do we know, are these vanilla shops as well? Or are they just free?
They are free shops. They have been randomized with a 10% factor. So basically, all of the shops have their contents shuffled amongst each other, and then there is a 10% chance for an item to become something else, something random.
Yeah.
So
And while we're talking there, though, Fitz got an experience egg. So
everyone likes eggs.
Yeah. Immediately put that onto to the Shadow that he just got, and looks like he's expecting that Shadow to be his main damage dealer with that.
So I said earlier that EXP egg is maybe the best item in the game, and I was not lying. I do not know what that character is.
It looks like a blonde Cecil to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw too. So that might be an Edgar or something.
Edgar, maybe a Cyan? I don't know. I don't know who he would. Yeah, maybe Edgar.
I imagine they would set Yang as 7 if the trend is going. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I never did finish my thought. So, in order to do damage, you need to have good levels. The EXP egg doubles the incoming experience for that character. So, they level up twice as quickly, and that means that they get more powerful at the end of the game relative to other non-egg characters. So, for basically all damage, especially physical damage, your level is a huge determinant into how much damage you do. So the higher the level you are, the better off you are.
Yeah. Fitz running into the Stooges here. You noticed he focused all of his efforts on that top one first. That top one is able to cast Life 2 on any of the other ones that happen to fall, which brings him back at full health. So very, very typical strategy there to just immediately nuke that top one before going for the other 2. General consensus is next to go after that back one, and then leave this front one for last.
Yep. It's also worth noting, too, that Larry, the one in the back with the blue pants, is susceptible to instant death. So if you have one of those kicking around, you can kill him in one shot. Just don't do it when Curly is there.
Yeah.
And as I found out pretty recently, don't use X Zone to kill him because Curly can life to him through X Zone. And what happens is that Larry is back. He is present and doing stuff, but you can't target him or do damage to him in any way.
Ooh.
So, the more you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the more you know. Yeah, it's pretty interesting the number of bosses that are susceptible to some form of instant death in this game.
Yeah. It doesn't really come up in the vanilla game because you learn Ultima, for example, and that's basically all you do. Everyone loves the big blue bubble. Honestly, there's very little reason not to cast it. So, for most seeds in the Worlds Collide community, we specifically remove the ability for players to learn Ultima, and that is Cyan.
It is Cyan. All right.
So no one gets to use the big blue bubble, with one exception, and it's a funny exception, so I allow it. And yeah, so now Fitz has all 6 of his characters. And what that means is that now he's going to start prioritizing checks that are more likely to reward espers. Picking up that Cyan, for example, is a pretty fantastic find.
Right? Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, with the finding of his 6th character, and now all he needs is espers, we're approaching that time where we might have to start cutting off the incentive. So if you really care about, if you're as passionate as Gar is about whether or not to save Sid, if you want to help beat that record from winter 2022, let's get those last donations in there, everybody. Let's finish out this evening strong, this entire event strong, and let's get those donations in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that was a little rude. These enemies here, I do believe, are in the ancient castle portion, which in the vanilla game is where is where Edgar or
Gerard,
Gerard,
yeah, Gerard, yeah.
In the Worlds Collide, in Worlds Collide, that is one of Edgar's checks, is to do the ancient castle, and these enemies come from there. And I believe that all of them have innate reflect. At least the ones in the cave do. Once you get to the castle proper, it's a little different. So he's going up here. This is kind of a long check, but it's balanced out by the fact that there are 2 instances where progression is guaranteed, and it is very likely that he is going to see espers here. So opting to reset there, don't blame him.
I just like his comment in the chat. I did a bad thing. Which, by the way, yeah, Fitz is here in the chat. If you want to have anything to say to him, you can type in chat. But I highly recommend that you, put in $2 or $3 with your donation and have it read out loud, so he can hear it out loud instead of having to look over and read it.
And on that note, Headings, what you got for us?
No new donations yet. I do want to go ahead and give everybody a total update. We are at 340 for save and 201 for don't. So if you want to go ahead and get those donations in, it looks like we're getting ready to close in on those fairly soon. And just want to remind everybody that all these donations are going towards the MDM Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA+ community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. Some of the recent activities have been setting up monthly support groups and bi-weekly LGBTQIA+ D&D sessions, for folks, as well as setting out housing and assisting people and families who have moved to Rockford from out of state due to anti-trans legislation. So we'll be helping people get back up on their feet and get their lives back to their stable place.
All right, so we got another Esper here. So we're going to sit at 6'5". Air Force is guarding this one.
So you notice how, as he came up to the Air Force spot here, you could see Interceptor, the dog, and the glowing stone on the ground. That's what we call a peekable check, because you can take a look and see what the reward is before actually committing to it.
Yeah, that's right. And that's always information is key in this randomizer, to be able to know what's there. You know, the fact that Fitz still knows that there's a lock in Mobliz. If he ends up feeling like he's a little stuck and that there's no good chance for him to get more Espers, he knows exactly where he can go to get another character in order to unlock more checks for him to get. And just knowing where things are and having that information is really a nice boon to any runner that's going through this game. The early game is all about the looting, getting your gear, and then at least a good starting gear. If you happen to get lucky and get an Illumina in your first chest, it's freaking awesome, right? But
Yeah.
Then it all becomes about how can I best, most efficiently use my time. So having that knowledge is really, really nice. Oh yeah, Chatty is pointing out, did Fitz pet Interceptor on his way out?
Fitz did not, and he left, and he went back up and tried to pet the dog, but the dog was not there anymore. It got so sad
Oh no.
that Fitz didn't pet him.
So this is another bid war we can create real fast. Does he still, is his run still validated because he did Elite River but didn't pet Interceptor?
Well, he can suplex a train, or he can get the meme chest.
Yeah, that's true.
And those are ways to save the run. So he's parked outside of Fanatic's Tower. This is another unpopular check, but I think it gets kind of a bad rap. Not necessarily for a bad reason, but it's less bad than people make it out to be. So the gist of it is that there are 5 floors, and you gotta climb them up. You gotta climb up all of them. Ugh. Just like this.
Yeah, it's like a not quite as severe version of the Final Fantasy VII stairs as Shinra headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the gimmick here is that you can only use magic. Or items, I guess. Now, in this particular case, it should be fine. Everyone's got Bolt 3, so should be able to get through this pretty comfortably.
There's that white dragon we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. At this point, this should be doable, but you can see just how rude it can be. Pearl and discard beam like that. And looks like nothing else, so...
Now the counterattack begins. But yeah, I think it's especially in the randomizer in a run like this in particular, knowing that Fitz has already defeated Magic Master, it makes it a little less scary because at least I don't have to fight only with magic, or items against this boss who is extremely, defensive against magic. Now he knows, okay, maybe it won't be as tough a boss at the top, and he does have characters that have a strong magic attack on all of them. So, I can understand where you're coming from. That it's actually not that bad. It gets a better rap.
Well, and the other reason too is that at the top there is guaranteed to be a high tier item. What that is, well, it could be anything. It could even be a boat. It won't be a boat. Boats are not rare items in this game, but it could be like an elemental shield, for example, or a red cap, or something nice.
Yeah.
He will have a little bit of trouble if this winds up being something like Tritalk.
That's true. That's true.
But I think the odds of that are sufficiently low enough to where I'm comfortable saying that that is not possible. It won't happen here, and we're not going to see him. And he picked up an economizer.
Yeah, an economizer. Which, in a vanilla game, I think most people would be happy to see. But for a randomizer, isn't the most exciting item to get.
I think it also gets kind of a bad rap, and it very much depends on what your offense looks like. Because if you're casting Merton, for example, Merton has a very high MP cost, and if you don't have a lot of MP restoring items, it may very well be worth it to put on an economizer over a pair of earrings in order to just ensure that you never run out of MP.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that earrings are basically the single best offensive, well, maybe the second or third best offensive relic you can get. And what it does is it boosts your magic power by 25%. And it stacks. So if you have 2 earrings, your spells do 50% more. You have a similar sort of thing with the Atlas Armlet, which is the same thing, but for physical damage. But the Atlas Armlet effects do not stack. So if you have 2 Atlas Armlets, you only get 25% physical damage. So down goes the Senor Behemoth, Sir Behemoth, Super Behemoth, Strontium Behemoth, whatever SR Behemoth is supposed to be. Gets a behemoth suit out of it, so a very, very nice piece of armor, and both Realm and Strago can naturally equip it. I guess that's one thing that we should probably talk about too, is the equips for this flag set. So every character has a 33% chance of being able to equip an item or a piece of equipment or a relic that they would otherwise not be able to equip. So, for example, the Rage Ring, which is one of Umaro's relics, there is a 33% chance that Terra could equip a Rage Ring. And there's actually some utility behind it because the Rage Ring absorbs fire damage and nullifies lightning. So things like that. And it's worth paying attention in your seed to who can equip what.
That's right. And I mean, again, that just goes to show how much exactly can actually be customized and tweaked with Worlds Collide, which is part of what makes it super fun to play through, and why we have some of these runners that are going through multiple seeds a day, and screaming and just having a good old time.
Heck yeah.
Here's another Esper, so we're at an even 6 and 6, and it looks like there's 10 bosses. So I agree with you. I think we're definitely going to see Fitz being able to unlock the Kefka Tower skip on his way to get these last 3 Espers that he needs.
And one of them could be here in Jador.
Yeah. I was just about to ask you, what are the odds we see Fitz go over to the auction house?
Well, if I remembered the flag for this, I could tell you with some certainty. But I think it's like if there are Espers available in the auction house for this flag set, then it's very high. Otherwise, it's 0.
Yeah, gotcha.
One of the biggest problems is that in order to do the auction house, you have to have a bunch of money. And I mean, like, this encounter will help with that, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Everyone loves the reach frog. Look at that fat little guy.
it's the cute doe eyes. Yeah, that's what does it.
I don't know. It's like it's the whole package for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it totally.
Like the fact that it's balancing on its tail, the fact that it jumps. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Time for a quick donation.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
We got a $10 donation from Rax, just tossing an extra $10 towards saving Sid and
no.
towards the Liam Foundation.
Y'all are gonna make me work for it, aren't you?
They are. We are at a square 350 for Save Sid and 201 for Don't. So we need $150 to not save Sid.
I already pitched in a little bit of money earlier. Don't make me do it again.
So here we are going through Alzur's Mansion. This is one of Realm's checks. I love Alzur. I wish we could try to have a way to get him as a playable character. Or at least, like his sprite, just chilling there on his big comfy chair. But we'll see him at the end, and he will be guarding whatever our reward will be here. Let's see. So it looks like a soldier that's working on that painting there. So this could very well be an Esper for Fitz.
We see Ultros 2, and this is our third instance of an Ultros. So Ultros 3 is the last one that we need. There he goes, exiting stage right. We get some cool tunes here.
I do love Realm's theme.
It's one of my favorites, and we do get a Bahamut Esper out of it, so...
All right.
Just a couple more Espers. Ooh, and that one's pretty juicy.
Juicy indeed. All right, so let's see. Where do we think Fitz is going to go next? He hasn't done any of Cyan's checks yet.
I was just gonna say, I would be taking a look at both of Cyan's checks. And I also don't believe that he's purchased the Tizen Thief, but I don't remember if that was actually an Esper or not.
That's true. I didn't see. I don't remember if it was or not either. But yeah, I would definitely go peek the Doma Siege real quickly. It's a real quick one to check, and if you don't like it, to be able to just reset out real quick. Dream would be a little harder to check. Or just take a little longer,
But before that, why don't we have ourselves a little opera?
Yeah, sure.
I believe we did meet the incentive.
There we go.
Thank you very much for donating to that, and I'll shut up and let this play.
Yeah, let's let it play out.
Thanks again, everybody, for donating for that. Opera scene is one of my favorite scenes in any video game ever, and I know that a lot of you feel the same way.
Yeah, I may or may not have that, the full Distant Worlds version of it on Spotify.
Ooh, that's strong.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the action. Like we predicted, Fitz is taking a look at the Doma Siege. We'll see who or what comes out of the castle here. It is a one of their party members, which means that this will either be an item or an Esper. And hey, how would you like to fight a snail?
Yeah, get some escargot. It's been a long night. Needs a little refresher.
He's been leading the siege on Doma this whole time.
So yeah, as Gar mentioned, what makes this a peekable check is when those characters come out of the castle. If you were to be gaining a character, that character would also walk out. So if we saw, as we predicted, maybe Yang would end up being Saban. If we saw a Yang sprite walk out as well, then we'd know, okay, we're going to get Saban if we complete this. Since we didn't see anybody except for Rydia, which we already have, we know that it'll be either an item or an Esper. And it is an Esper.
All right, so one more.
That's right, one more. Which brings us awfully close. I'd say there's probably about just maybe another minute before we can close down the incentives for save or don't save Sid. Because if Fitz finds the next one, he's in go mode, and he just with this boss unlocked the power skip.
You heard it,
so we'll
chat.
get
That's right. So chat whenever you can. Let's get those last donations in. You've got one more minute.
He's got to die. So Fitz is gonna take a hike up Mount Zozo. Goodness. And this is a pretty neat check. There's a dragon up here, and if he decides he wants to kill it, maybe he needs or feels like he needs a little bit extra levels or wants some more gear, whatever the case may be, he can kill the dragon, and the reward top of Mount Zozo is full. So we'll very quickly be able to see whether it's an Esper or not.
That's right. And other than the dragon, it is not blocked by a boss. So it is a nice, easy check there.
Hebbings, did you have any during that opera sequence?
Unfortunately, no donations, but I'm still holding out hope. There's still some people who can snipe this incentive. I believe in chat. I believe in them for you, Gar.
Thank you. I need this.
So we're about to see here if Fitz decides to go for that dragon or not. That'll give you that last little bit of time to get those in. If he decides to go straight for the reward, then it may be too little too late, and Gar will end up being very disappointed.
I'm already mentally bracing myself, but it's okay. It's for a good cause, so I guess I can't complain too much. So looks like he is going to take a dragon.
Yeah, for the dragon. Let's see. Storm Dragon.
Is this even?
Is this even vanilla? I mean, randomized?
So Storm Dragon is weak to Bolt, which may seem strange, but remember that the wind element is present here. So what Storm Dragon actually absorbs is wind. Now, why is he weak to bolt? I don't know. Who the heck knows?
That's a classic weakness for bird-like enemies in Final Fantasy.
I guess. And the flame shield for his troubles.
Oh, there you go. Alrighty. After this bit of menuing here, we're gonna be nice. We're gonna respect Cyan's privacy and not read the letter. We're just gonna go and see what is waiting for us here at the top. And that's another character.
I believe that is Celeste.
Looks like it. Rosa Celeste.
So gonna keep the incentive open a little longer, but Celeste has some very quick checks that we can do for Espers, and
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna see Fitz go straight to South Figaro.
that would be my guess. Oh,
Ooh, Magitech.
so
There was a Magitech factory upgrade as well, right?
That's correct. So, in Worlds Collide, we basically have two different sets of Magitech. There is the starting set, which consists of the 3 elemental beams, in addition to Heal Force. If you remember from the start of the vanilla game, Vix and Wedge, those are the abilities that they have. We have an objective. If you do the Magitech facility all the way through, then you will get what we call the Magitech upgrade, which gives you the really, really nice stuff. Just another egg.
Yeah, another egg. Happy to see it, although it's very late in the run to have. But again, as Gar pointed out, it's a great item to have. It's it's probably arguably the best relic you can obtain to just really boost your power levels, and still gonna put it to use, even though he's pretty late in his run here.
Yeah, the value of the egg goes down as the seed approaches its end. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've had a seed where I'll find an EXP egg as one of the very last things that I get.
Mm-hmm.
So, going to Zozo here, I'm going to take a second crack at that Magimaster. Definitely has a better party for it. But the trade-off is that Magimaster is a lot more dangerous now. In Worlds Collide, we have something called ability scaling, and everything gets put into a tier based on the strength of that attack. So, for example, if you run into Magimaster very early, he might cast, the first level ice spell, or he might cast, like Blaze or something like that. Whereas if you run into him now, he's going to be casting, like Bolt 3, Ice 3, Absolute Zero, Merton, all kinds of really nasty things. So,
yeah. The big scary one being having Ultima used against you instead of you using Ultima against the enemies.
Yep. Now, one thing that we do change for this fight is normally in the vanilla game, he casts Ultima when he dies. In our particular configuration, Ultima would just kill us. With a fully geared party, it's about 5k per person. So we said that's a little bit too rude. So he no longer casts Ultima, and now that we have Berserk, we can hit him in his one weakness, which is, it's Berserk.
Yeah, So this it forces him to try to attack physically, which can't do. And this also prevents him from using his wall change. So now we know that he will not be able to change his resistance, and he will continue to just take his bulk 3 damage, as well as the Bahamut here at that.
Gotta get the swag summon out. No worries there. So, Magic Master gonna die here pretty soon. It doesn't have a whole lot of HP, and when he's not wall changing, it gets depleted very rapidly. Yep, there he goes. And the best part about fighting him is the Mega Elixir that you get.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what we got here. And that is the last Magicite we need.
So that is Go Mode 4 fits, and that is going to also be the cutoff for our save/kill Sid. So Hebbinks, tell me some news.
Alrighty. Well, it was close, but with a grand total of $350 raised, we're going to be saving Sid.
You can't see it, and you probably can't hear it, but I'm crying. Full on sobbing right now.
That's okay. Despite your tears, all that money was raised for a great cause. So thank you to everybody in chat who donated for this incentive, our final bid war of the event, helping raise money for the Liam Foundation. Still not the end, though. You can still get donations in towards a great cause and helping us shatter that record. But that is our final incentive bid war for the event.
And thank you all so much for donating towards that.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, very, very much.
So, Fitz clearing out his money and buying a Genji helm.
Yeah, do a little bit of shopping. So, hey, you know what? Kefka can wait. The world can wait.
Yeah, I mean, he's everything in the shop is free, so might as well spend it.
Yeah, let me get my white dress. Gotta go and save the world in style.
So Maneater is a very interesting weapon because it deals increased damage to human targets, and Final Kefka, for all intents and purposes, is still human. Do with that information what you will. Personally, I think there's some nice thematic things you could put in there.
That's right. He's still human for all intents and purposes, as much as he's trying to be a god.
Exactly.
Welcome to all the raiders.
I was going to say, quick shout out to our raiders from Star 14681 and Speed Gaming 2. Welcome. You are just in time for the finale of the marathon.
That's right. Yes, welcome indeed. You have just missed the cutoff for our donations, whether or not to save or do not save Sid. And saving Sid won. So once Fitz here finishes his little shopping spree, it's probably going to go take care of that and go save Sid. But we are extremely close to breaking the last winter's marathon record for what they made. So if you have any money at all to spare, go ahead and make a donation as soon as you can so we can break that record. Hebbings, you want to break down what the Liam Foundation is about one more time?
I sure can. So the Liam Foundation's mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA plus community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. Recently, they have started monthly support groups and bi-weekly LGBTQIA plus D&D sessions, and have started housing efforts and assisting people and families who have moved to Rockford from out of state due to anti-trans legislation. So literally helping people get back up on their feet and get a stable day-to-day life back in their routine. So definitely a worthy cause to donate towards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
So the trick here is that you want you want to get the fast fish. So we're looking at these red snapper, that one that's zooming around. That's the one that's going to heal Sid and make him all better. That other fish, that was a mid fish. The mid fish is better than a slow fish. And Sid feels much better, thanks. I do not believe that we put in an actual objective for that, so I will trust that he is fixed because he is walking around, and you cannot give him any more fish.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he has been saved officially, and now after this file save, we're gonna head over to Kefka's Tower. Our runner Fitz did happen to unlock the Kefka Tower skip. So you see, as he's about to enter here, it gives him the option to enter the statues or at the entrance. Normally, you'd have to just enter at the entrance, run your 3 parties through the tower, and get your way all the way to those 3 suites that you have your parties stand on to unlock the final 4 bosses before final Kefka. With this tower skip, he's going to be able to just go straight to those 3 switches and have his parties land there. So he gets to go straight for the 3 statue and guardian bosses, significantly lowering his time.
And
shoutouts to Lunulate in the chat, officially saved Sid.
hey Lou, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
So we've seen a fair number of rude bosses already, and the really unfortunate thing is that there are even more rude bosses waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hope that they're just not here. We've already seen Poltergeist, we've already seen Magimaster. Those are 2 of the rude ones. Tunnel Armor is the exact opposite of rude.
Yeah. Tunnel Armor's a good one to see here.
This might actually just get 1 shot.
Bolt 3?
Oh, not quite. Well, I tried.
Close. Yeah, this is the type of boss you're hoping to see. Some of the other rude ones that are still out there, the other statue bosses that we haven't seen, Goddess, and Doom. We haven't seen Doom Caves either. Speaking of that, I'm pretty sure Fitz should be saved from a Doom Cave opening. I
think he is. The only one that I would be wary of is the character of the XP, since they may be XP at a different rate. But it looks like they're all good.
Looks like it. And,
Pardon our robot voices.
Yeah, pardon our robot voices. Probably mostly
know.
mine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to practice. You know.
Yeah, I've got a voiceover gig where I play a. No, I'm just kidding.
So Party 2 here fights 2 bosses instead of the usual 1. So normally, if there's a character that, like if you have a big physical attacker and you want them to gain a little bit of extra levels, normally you'd put them in this party. But here it's just Vargas and the iPoos, Apple's newest product.
They're smart toilet for sure.
And Claw is that's a big damage multiplier. Yeah. Shadow nearly getting 1 shot in the front row there, so
Shadow being one of the experienced egg holders, so Fitz definitely wants to keep him up so that he gets this last bit of experience here before heading to final Kefka. So casting Life 3 on him to make sure that if he does go down, he's immediately brought back up. but definitely already got rid of those IPs, so it's just Vargas, and that should be a fairly easier battle here. Taking advantage of the fact that he's a human enemy, so weak to bio, using Strago Tella there to dish out some damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shadow, I believe, is swinging a Man-Eater, so you can see just how much damage it's doing. Looks like 5k a pop. So,
yeah,
very, very good weapon. Very underrated weapon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's, we were talking a little bit earlier about Illuminas, Ragnaroks, and there's typically, like, goated weapons. But there really is a large amount of niche skills, weapons, spells, just different things that you can do in this game. And there's Doom! So,
a little bit of commentator curse there.
Yeah. I'm good at that. But, yeah, there's just quite a bit in this game that the developers just thought so much and put so much into it that there's these really unique niche ways that things interact, which is makes for pretty fun runs sometimes to see some of our runners pull out some of the niche knowledge of, okay, well, this item actually really synergizes well against these types of enemies or this strat that I'm about to pull off. So it's really fun to watch sometimes.
So they shouldn't have too much trouble with the Doom here. At 50% HP, he's going to go into his phase 2. He's going to glow, and when he glows, he gains the image and reflect statuses. So Fitz is going to have to be a little careful here to not like accidentally reflect the spell off of Doom back onto his party.
Yeah, although, our runners are usually very good at doing very quick math and counting the amount of damage that they deal and knowing the general amount of health that each boss has in order to avoid things like that, and they get a lot of practice with it with Final Kefka as well. So I think Fitz is going to do a pretty good job here.
Yep, so now he's in phase 2. He's going to start casting these force fields, and what force field does is it nullifies a random element. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and I've had it before where I'll have a like a fire rod queued up, and he'll nullify fire because, of course, why would you do that?
Love to see the Chocobos. Just trample this, living embodiment of power.
Yeah.
Just throw some big yellow birds at it.
Yeah, it's fine. That's one of the slots that I don't know how to do, if I'm honest. I know I do 7 flesh.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say that's a pretty accurate Tella right there, casting a meteor.
Tella's not dead though, so come on.
Found the way around it.
That's too funny. I didn't even think about that until just now, so thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So it should be coming up on the end here. Ah, there we go. All right, we're in there.
I just thought it was very fitting.
Okay, so Fitz opting to play it safe and is going to use Phoenix down there to pick up Strago. And if you're wondering how he's taking 2 turns in a row, it's because of the spell Quick. And Quick It does just what I said. It allows you to take 2 turns in a row. There are some side effects to it that a lot of the time don't matter, but sometimes they do, and it mostly has to deal with ATB. As it turns out, the game does not like it when you cast Quick. It really doesn't want you to do it, but it's a pretty good spell, so... and what happens is that sometimes the enemy's ATB will... I don't even know, but like it's possible to freeze Kefka in place for several minutes while his ATB refills. Things like that. It's really weird.
Alright, that's the middle route done. Got one more route that we can see here. One more boss. We got to see a rude one there. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this last statue boss is going to be one of our less rude bosses to run into. Although I probably just jinxed it again. We'll see.
Well, I'm predicting Ultros 3. I think that's going to be what we're looking at here.
I'm going to predict my new favorite band, the Haydn and the Haydnites.
Oh. Now that, at this point, that would be a very rude fight.
Yeah. So I'm hoping not. And if I commentator curse this again, I will apologize profusely to Fitz afterwards. But let's see. Oh.
Well, that's not too much better.
Yeah.
So this is Atma. We call him Toilet Atma because you find him in a bathroom.
That's right.
He is only weak to the 3 primary elements: fire, ice, and lightning. He absorbs every other one. So Bolt 3 is the name of the game here, and I think one more cast of it should be enough to take down that Atma.
Yeah.
What we don't want to see is like Meteo, Wombat, anything like that. Oh, it looks like we need one more. Goodness.
That Minerva has paid off immensely, though. That's the one item that Fitz was actually able to get from the Coliseum. So.
Oh, he's still not dead. Oh, you know what it is? It's 2.5 times scaling and not 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So now he should be dead.
There it is.
Okay. So Atma decided to cooperate, which is really nice. If he decided to do like Quake, or he can cast Ultima, he can cast Goner, and again, that just goes back to that ability scaling that I mentioned earlier. Any kind of non-elemental damage gets scaled up, just like elemental damage.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to see the antlion out there for a little bit longer.
I'm a little surprised that the antlion came along. Normally, we leave Umaro on the ship so he can be the pilot,
Yeah, that's right. Well, with those little his little legs, I don't think Umaro can do much driving of that airship.
It's bigger than it looks. Okay, so
now,
stepping on the switches at about 1:40:30.
All right.
A-Pribes, you want to go over like tier 1? Because there's a lot to the Kefka tiers.
There's a lot here. You probably actually have them down a little bit better than I do, so I'm gonna let you do that.
Okay, you got it. So we're gonna come up on we're basically 3 sets of bosses back to back. Colloquially, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 consists of a head and 2 arms. We call them head, long arm, and short arm, respectively. Long arm is the arm that is closest to you, the viewer, and short arm is the one that's kind of balled up into a fist there. and the head is ahead.
Yeah.
We start with a cast of Shoat. Unfortunately, it missed. Long Arm is vulnerable to Petrify and Instant Death. So we'll try an X-Zone. X-Zone also misses. That's very unfortunate. So the way that this works is that we want to kill the head first, or the right arm first, ideally. But the instant deaths are not cooperating. This is starting to look like one of my seeds.
Yeah, it's not hitting. Again, another miss there.
Goodness.
But after the right arm goes down, at some point, the next target is the head, and that's because it counters its death with is that 10 hits?
So if the head is the last thing to die, it counters with Quake, and there finally the X-Zone connects. Quake will wipe the party. And if it doesn't quite wipe it, like it probably won't kill Strago, but it'll kill everybody else. And we don't want that. That would be very bad. So let's just kill the head and deal with the short arm last. Short arm doesn't do anything when it dies, but it does have a very high counter rate. I think it's supposed to be 50%. It always feels like it's 100%, but you know.
Yeah.
But that's about it for the first tier. There's not a whole lot that goes on there. It's just kill the head and kill the right arm, and then kill the short arm. And then once you're done with that, you are on to tier 2. But as you can see, the arm is very punchy. It hurts a lot. It is not uncommon for it to do just thousands of damage just in a pop.
Yeah. Quite a lot. And actually, I think we're actually seeing here, as offensive as these Espers have been able to make fits and provide with offensive spells, not a lot of healing spells that have come up in this season. So Fitz relying on mostly items to heal himself and relying on that life 3 to help him bounce back in case anybody does get taken down. But there's tier 1 down. Terra looking a little scary low, but got some good things to deal with tier 2 now.
Life 3 is a very good healing spell. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, tier 2. I think this is the most complicated of the tiers, just because there are 4 parts to it. Starting from like the top right and going down, we have the guy in blue. His name is Hit. Hit is also very punchy. He's sitting on the tiger head. We could call him Tiger. Tiger does a lot of like weird party-wide stuff. In addition to turning your people into zombies, and that's very rude. Behind Hit, like that you can see some kind of massive machinery next to a girl in red. That is Tools. She does a lot of basically like Magitech-y stuff, so like Tech Laser, Diffuser. She can cast Delta Hit, which will petrify a party member, that sort of thing. And finally, the guy in the back pointing away, that is Magic. And Magic is very rude because he casts Magic, and he's got a lot of Magic to cast. Anything from Muddle on your party members to Life 3. It's not great, and it doesn't look like we have any kind of mute. So every one of them has a weakness. Tools, which you saw just get swallowed into the X-Zone, is weak to instant death, so X-Zone and Doom will kill it, but not Break. She is not vulnerable to Petrify. Magic is vulnerable to Mute, so if you have the Siren Esper or just the Mute spell, that will prevent Magic from doing anything until the very, very end of the fight. The Tiger Head is weak to ice, and the blue man there is weak to, I think it's bio, and is also susceptible to stop.
Yeah, I know about the stop, but yeah, there you go.
So that S-Cross there, that's coming out from the Tiger Head. That is fire damage. And good job blocking the Doom Tusk there. Doom Tusk is the thing that turns people into zombies.
Yeah, the S-Cross always throws me off because
it looks like an ice elemental attack,
yeah, it looks
right?
like an ice element. Yeah, it looks like an ice element because it's all blue. But then I always remember, I'm like, wait, no, okay, I know N-Cross is ice, so S-Cross clearly has to be fire. But yeah, and yes,
So,
being weak to for the blue, being weak to bio and stuff as well, has that same sort of human flag, right? So also weak to man-eater, which luckily our Shadow Edge is wielding. So Fitz is hoping to take down Tier 2 as best as possible while trying to dodge and block, dodge, duck, dive, dip, and dodge as much as he can of these really annoying magics and weird things that are being tossed his way.
yeah, so far Magic has been very cooperative.
It hasn't been too crazy so far.
So now he is under 10,000 HP. At this point, he has a chance to start countering everything with Dispel and Quarter. And his death counter is anywhere from 0 to 1 casts of Quarter and 0 to 2 casts of Dispel. And as you saw there, Fitz stole an elixir and immediately putting to good use. So now all we have left is hit.
And this is the one when hit gets taken out, we'll counterattack with the 10 hits that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
We are not in a good way right now. Unfortunately, Terra is at critical HP, so any kind of damage that she takes is very likely to kill her. We can try like a life 3 on her, but
you could also technically try to hit her with an elemental magic that she can absorb. Here come the 10 hits. Tella dangerously low as well. Oof.
Okay, so unfortunately, Strago taking a dive there. And what that means is that we no longer have access to him. He will be replaced by
Celeste.
Is it Celeste? Did he actually?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
He picked Celeste at 5.
Okay. So that's still a little unfortunate. He should be able to get through it just fine. Unfortunately, Celeste is dead, but that's whatever.
Yikes.
So this phase is also very dangerous, but for a different reason. So it has 2 parts. You have the guy kind of just chilling there. We call him Rest. And then there's the girl head behind him. We call her Lady? Or Girl?
Lady, yeah.
Lady shtick is that she has 9999 HP, and she casts Pearl Wind, which heals for the caster's current HP. And she also absorbs every element. you want to kill her before you kill Rest, because if you kill Rest first, you're going to take a bunch of damage because he's going to cast Meteor. And second, Girl can bring him back to life with Life 2.
Yep. So the main goal is that we try to defeat Girl, Lady, with anything that is a non-elemental type of damage. So way back when we were mentioning how Ragnarok, for example, is widely considered like the second best sword behind the Illumina. The Ragnarok takes center stage in this tier, this fight, because Illumina can, when you swing it and use it to hit an enemy, can have an instance of casting Pearl immediately after hitting. And so Lady will absorb that Pearl. Ragnarok, however, can cast its Flare after swinging and hitting and connecting. So Flare is actually, it is a magic spell, but it actually is non-elemental damage. So even though it's widely considered the second best sword, it takes the center spotlight here in this fight to help out against Lady. We can also take advantage of Meteor, which is why it is a little sad to see Tella go down in that last tier, because Tella would have been casting Meteor, I'm sure, over and over and over again to try to take care of Lady.
And right now we have to do it the hard way, and it looks like we're just going to do it right now. Good. So, as bad as Lady is, Rest is even worse. And it's because once you get him under 10,000 HP, he starts casting Meteo. Meteo does about 1,500 damage to your entire party. Now, it has a lower accuracy than a lot of spells, so it's not uncommon for it to miss, but you can't count on it. And he can also use a move called Train, and everybody loves Train. The band, I mean, not the spell. The spell sucks. The spell gives, it sets darkness and mute on all of your party, and in this game, we fix darkness, so Evade actually does a bunch. And at the end, once you kill him, he can cast up to 2 spells called Calmness, which is a physical attack that instantly kills a character. There are a number of ways to get around it. Right now, you see Fitz casting Life 3 on his party. That'll make sure that they get up in case they get hit by it. But the other way to do it is to cast something like the Golem Summon or Fenrir, which will set the image status on your party. So anything that will block physical damage will also block Calmness. There's the one. We do get a second one.
Oh, but Life 3 coming in clutch there.
And you saw Fitz making terrific use out of that heal force there.
Mm-hmm.
Heal force is basically Cure 2.5. Its biggest drawback is that you can't target the party with it. But even on a Celeste that has not seen any action, it's still healing for very respectable amounts.
Yeah, I was surprised when he first brought it out, and I said, "Oh wow, that's a nice, actually decent chunk of healing there."
It's definitely good tech.
Yeah.
And now we're on to the big man himself, which I actually think is going to be a little bit easier for Fitz than tiers 2 and 3, and that's just because he's still sitting on that Mega Elixir in his inventory and a bunch of X Ethers. Realized that he had 8 of them. So we're going to see a little bit of swag.
Yeah.
So Kefka's first move, unless you deal a bunch of damage to him, is that Fallen One. Fallen One sets your entire party's HP to 1, but it doesn't work if you're up in the air, and so when you cast Falador,
Nice damage there.
ooh, and a good block from the Havoc Queen.
Very nice. So yeah, most people would who end up having a Mega Elixir like that in their inventory, if they didn't have access to Palador, for example, and were able to avoid that Fallen One, would he immediately use that Mega Elixir to counteract Fallen One, bringing everybody to 1 HP. Yikes, that is a lot of damage coming out, though.
That was a big crit.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, Quick does strange things to ATBs. So, I've had it before where I've used Quick at the start of a fight, and Kefka didn't get a turn until like 2 minutes later.
And here comes the head.
So, when you see that message, the end comes beyond chaos. What that means is that he is charging up to cast his ultimate spell, which is Goner. Goner has a huge magic damage component to it, mitigated by the fact that it does not ignore your magic defense. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that it's even higher than Ultima, but it deals less damage because it takes magic defense into account.
Yeah.
There's the Crack Pow, and that means that we are done. One Free Fits has finished with a time of about 1:42. 1:58:42, pardon me.
Jeez.
Look at that.
Very nicely done.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, so some people sometimes think of when that message comes up, it's like a yellow light, but instead of slowing down, you speed up to make the light. And it's just throw everything you can. If you noticed, Fitz, brought out the shields. He broke the shields to cast level 3 versions of the spells and tried to get as much damage as he could before Goner was used. And there you have it.
I believe we have the runner in the booth with us. GG's, 1 Free Fits.
Thank you. That was a tricky one. I had to be wily at times to continue, but it was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah,
very well played. I really like how you showed off just like a lot of different varied aspects of this randomizer that a lot of people that are just like passively familiar with the vanilla game may not even know. So it was cool to see that tech. And of course, it's going to be Fitz. Fitz is a very esteemed member of the Worlds Collide community, and I'm very happy to have him show off this cool game.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment was I was in like league racing mode, and I'm like opening boxes in Narsh, and we're just like empty. What is happening here? And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is a marathon, and I need to chill out, and like I'm gonna show off all of the notorious checks that I can, and just like really have fun with it. And so it was really a good time, even though I ran into some nasty stuff too.
That's what makes it so good, though, right? Like, you run into the nasty stuff, and then you get around it, and that's a teaching moment for all of our wonderful viewers.
Yeah, I'm particularly proud of. I had Merton. I was learning it. I had so much elemental protection, and I ran into Poltergeist, and I just had to snap all my shields.
2 shields and
Yep.
And it's just like, this is the only way I can get through this fight. If I mess around and just try to bolt 3 them down, it'll take like 8 turns and I'll die for probably. So it's like, bye Merton for now. Maybe we'll get back to you. And we never really did, but had to do it.
Awesome. Well, do we have any final shout outs from the runner or from our commentators? Also, real quick shout outs to Gar and Prebz. Y'all were phenomenal on comms.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Eddings, and thanks for being a fantastic host for us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I can shout out. I'll shout out everyone that participated in like putting this on, from the runners to the tech staff and the hosts and the commentators and the viewers and the donators. I had a great time participating, and definitely shout out Gar in particular. I learned a lot just like watching them and racing against them a bunch. I lose most of the time, but I always get a little bit better. And I got a shout out as well, my Ultros League division, the Elixir Cactrots, I don't know, or Cactars. I don't know if any of them are in the chat still, but maybe they'll watch the VOD. Shout them out.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to One Free Fits here for doing this run and doing other runs in this marathon as well. I was lurking at the like 3 a.m. last night watching him go through Jets of Time and going through multiple runs here, and you guys for being great hosts, the viewers and the donators for helping us get over $5,000 for the Liam Foundation. Great job there. And to the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide community as a whole, you guys are great.
Yeah, thanks. Shout outs to the Worlds Collide community for that $250 donation. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I could gush forever about how cool that is, but for the sake of brevity, thanks to the fantastic volunteers that put on this event. I know that it's not easy doing this sort of thing, but it's definitely well appreciated, and I had a great time. Thanks to Fitz for putting on this delightful showcase for us. Thanks to Prebz for being my amazing co-commentator. Thanks once again. I'll learn that this equestrian, though, I promise.
I promise I'll come and I will learn Worlds Collide. We will trade.
Yeah. And then Liam Foundation, $5,000, over $5,000. Phenomenal. Absolutely love it.
Awesome. And yes, our final donation total is $5,114 raised for the Liam Foundation. So final shout out to y'all, chat. Y'all were amazing, and none of this could have been done without your donations. So thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. And with that, I believe we're going to toss it over to Dark Moon for our finale.
Yes, thank you. We need to bring the rest of the people in here, or honestly, I could just, I guess, drag them down and we could start doing our thing. If the rest of the crew is listening, hopefully they decide to wander in. I don't want to just jump right in, because... Here, give me a sec. We are going to quickly touch base, and then we will be right back, and we'll finish up this whole thing. But thank you to the runners. It was much appreciated, and yeah, we're going to wrap all of this up quite shortly.